Hello everyone, good evening. I hope you all are doing good and results are pouring in, and I hope you guys are converting your best calls. So welcome to yet another session of Early Edge Young Professionals. It's completely free one for our enrollees. And when I first heard that I would be taking this session on understanding case studies, I was honestly a little confused about what I would be teaching you guys. Which direction should I take this session into? Because when we say case studies, it can mean different things. One is your regular case based study at B school, at IIMs, at various other B schools, right? And second is your case competitions, via which you get amazing opportunities of PPI, PPO, etc. And third one is case studies which you solve to crack your placements. A lot of companies do have case studies as preliminary round of their interview process. So I was confused which direction to take this into, but considering the audience, you guys are yet to start your MBA journey and you're quite new. And that is why I have chosen case based learning at B schools. We are going to discuss how the case studies are going to be there at B schools. Why is it so important? Just let me give you a very quick heads up that it's going to be around 20% of your overall academic component. It's that important. And I know in your every why MBA answer, some of you must have written that, because you want to experience the case based learning that they provide. So, how exactly are you going to ace that is something that we are going to discuss today. And it's very different from lectures that you have, the normal lectures you have, very different from the exams that you give. It can feel a little uncomfortable in the beginning, I'll be very honest, because the cases are what, like 12, 13 pages long. Then there is 3, 4 pages exhibits, and you have to do it one night prior to your class, and you have to find the solution to it. It's confusing, it's quite uncomfortable, it's kind of boring as well, maybe. So then buckle up, because you're suddenly in a room full of talented students, equally smart students, everyone who has read the same case but have different perspectives to add, and there is no single correct answer. So you can understand the enthusiasm, the excitement that this brings in. So, with this, let's start this session. And this is how you guys, I mean, this is exactly how you guys are going to look in next what, 1.5 months. This is how you're going to try to explain the case study life at B school to your non-MBA friends. It's just confusing because, again, the first year is way more hectic. You're going to learn a lot of subjects, and every subject comes with their own case studies. I mean, let's say tomorrow you have 6 classes, and then there are 4 cases to read, one case, 10 to 12 pages each. How are you going to grasp everything? And that's where we come to rescue. That's where I'm going to tell you exactly what path to follow. So just stay tuned. And this session might be a little short. Reason being is that after this session, I'll give you a case. Again, typical B school case. It's going to be a Harvard case that I'm going to give you. You're going to come, and we'll have a little 5-10 minutes discussion in tomorrow's class, which is of consulting frameworks. They are quite linked. Case studies and consultings, they are quite linked, and I'm taking that class. So this is the reason why you're going to come prepared with a case tomorrow. All right. So the learning objectives are very, very simple. You're going to structure the ambiguous business problems clearly. You're going to develop hypothesis driven thinking, and you're going to communicate solutions in consultant like manner. Right. Now, quick introduction for you all. How many of you guys here believe that your job in a case study is to figure out you know what you should have done, what was missing, and what is the right answer? If you feel that you have to find the correct answer to the case, then you're absolutely wrong. We are going to dismantle all those beliefs, because there is no one particular answer. Again, you're going to read the same case, and everyone here are going to bring different perspectives to it, different solutions to it. So here you are not going to focus on what could have been done, you know, instead you're going to focus on how are we breaking the ambiguous problem into little pieces, and what steps are we including, and how we are, framing an opinion about it. So the reason why we do all of this is there are three main reasons. Nobody is testing your knowledge of business facts. We do not care about the business facts that are being listed here. Nobody is going to question you on that. The first thing that B schools try to see is that do you have a good judgment? Are you the person who has the ability to, make decision when information is incomplete, when there is so much ambiguity, when the time is short, and a lot of people disagree in the same room? During that scenario, are you able to make a decision or not? And this cannot be taught through books, this cannot be taught through lectures. It can be only trained when you are in that scenario where, a lot of people are disagreeing to you and you're just fighting for one particular solution. And hence the reason the case studies are being introduced. Second is your tolerance for ambiguity. I'm a consultant myself, and sometimes we go crazy that why the client is not providing us enough data. you know it's just you have to manage with the ambiguity, you have to just dig deep, you'll have to thrive in such situations where you do not get answers, even when you should be getting those answers. You do not have clarity. So are you a person who can thrive in such situations where you want to see clarity but there is none, and you can't make decisions based on some guesswork? It's not a hedge. It cannot be, your answer cannot be depends, because uh, a lot of things are at stake. So you need to give a recommendation, you need to give your expert analysis, and it should have a clear position. You will have to back your answer, back your decision, back your recommendation. So do you have that skill or not? That is to develop all this, case based learning has been introduced. So these are the purposes of case studies. And when you're going to solve the case study that I'll give as a homework today, you're going to understand what I'm saying. So first, I want to tell you that there are four structural layers of every case. The first one is the protagonist and the decision. Whenever you get a case study, you'll have to go through it, and you'll have to understand. Before reading anything else, you have to ask yourself, who is this person? What is his role? That person can be any company. What is this company? What is the role? What decision has to be made here? Who has to make this decision? What are the timelines? Note it down. Sounds very obvious, right? But it isn't, because at the end of the case you'll still not have answers to what actually a person needs to decide. So whenever you get a case, jot down these answers, like who is the person in the picture, what is their role, what is the decision that he has to make, and what is the timeline. Note it down, because uh, you know, after you read, write in one sentence. In this case, XYZ person must decide whether or not to take this action by so and so date, given so and so constraints. And if you can write this in a sentence, you have understood the case, else you haven't. Because there are so many problems, there are so many layers to the problem that you sometimes fail to understand what is the main scenario, and hence the focus should not be lost. Because again, in 12 pages of cases, not everything is going to be relevant. Maybe there is one section that has most importance, and the other ones just are the layers to the problem. Do not focus more on the layers, focus on the main problem. And hence you need to make a habit of this. Sometimes because you skim through, sometimes you do not pay attention, you try to bring solutions to the layers to the problems and not the actual one. And hence the first structure of every case is to decide what's the protagonist, who is the protagonist, and what decision they have to take. All right. Then comes your three context rings. There are three context rings, and every person he makes the decision inside these three things only. First is the industry context. Every time you get a case, understand, and in background you will definitely get an industry context. You will definitely get main points on what industry is the company working on, and what is the sector doing, how well they are performing, what the projections are, what the historical say about, who are the competitors, who are leading, is there any new technological advancements that are happening, how's the competition that looks like. You're going to get everything. You're going to get the Porter 5 courses, all the things that you're going to get here. So make sure that you take a note of the industry context. Why? Your solution should not be something that does not apply to this particular industry. You should not be giving solutions that are not practical. And hence, the first thing that you take a note of in every case is that you give relevance to the industry context. Again, jot down the points. What industry we are working on, how is it growing, what were the historicals, what are going to be the projections, and who are the main competitors. Make note of it. And usually you'll get it in the first two paragraphs only. And students, they generally like to skim because why is it relevant? But trust me, it is very, very relevant. And industry dynamics, they also are a constraint to what any firm can do. So that is why this becomes your base. If you miss on this one point, you're missing out on everything. All right. And then comes your firm context, your particular company's context. Within that industry, how your company is doing. What is its position? Does it have a lot of power or not? What are the company's financial constraints? What is its culture? Who is holding the power in the organization? What decisions can you make? What decisions you cannot make due to the constraints of the company? So every firm has its own limitations and they are very specific to themselves. And the firm context will be given very, very broadly. Trust me, you'll have pages, just analyzing how the firm is doing. So again, jot down the important points that are necessary for you guys, so that you understand again why is it necessary. Your solution should not be something the firm cannot implement. The firm is already having a lot of financial constraints and you're giving a solution that requires a huge investment does not make sense. So again, you'll have to take a very, as experts, as consultants, as business students, you'll have to take care of little details and hence take a note of firm context. So once the industry context is done, the firm context is done, then come your own individual's decision. Who was the protagonist there? The person who is deciding. You have to take note of his personal incentives as well. Who is that person? What is his role? What personal incentives that person can have? How is he linked with the firm? Is that person, having any kind of personal, political, financial constraint that might impact the decision? Because there are a lot of conflicts within the firm, within the management. So you'll have to take note of that as well. The answers, again, you will find it in the case. You'll get hint of it within the case itself, right? So you'll have to take note of the firm conflicts as well between the decision maker and the firm. So again, this is completely based on your judgment. So you have to be very cautious, have eye to detail, and whenever you read a case, you should be consciously thinking of these three things. One is your industry, then comes your firm, and then comes your decision maker. And uh, these are the base of any case that you solve. And industry tells you what's possible, the firm will tell you if it is feasible or not, and the decision maker will tell you what's more likely, because again, he comes with his own personal judgment, he comes with his own personal opinions, and he knows the firm more than maybe any other audit books or anything else can actually describe. So all out depends on these three things. So first one was you have to decide who the protagonist is, what's the decision that needs to be taken, and then you'll have to focus on the three context ranks that I have mentioned. The next thing is exhibits. Now, you'll have what 14, 15 pages of case. After that, there will be 5, 6 pages of exhibits. Trust me, nobody is going to concentrate on exhibits thinking they are waste of time, because they are just graphs. They are just, representation of maybe how the trends are, the growth trends, and all of that. They are going to be easily 5, 6 pages tables, giving more information on, let's say, who the customers are, what their geographical backgrounds are, and all the trends over the years. All these information they are going to give as part of exhibit. Most students, they skim through the case, they skip the exhibits, and if they have time, maybe they'll read the entire narrative and then they'll come back to exhibit just to have a glance at it. But this is so wrong. So once you have decided what's the problem, who the decision maker is, and what decision he needs to take, go go to the exhibits. Look at each and every table, each and every chart, every bar graph. You have to understand, okay, because they are going to give you answers. You might feel like, they are additional information. They do not hold much relevance to the case that has been taught, that has been discussed. But trust me, these are the spots where your answers are hidden. You do need those extra information to make your decision. So again, whenever you go to the exhibits, think what questions are they answering? Even if they are additional information, to what are they linking back to? That is very, very important. Uh, every exhibit is there because it contains some kind of information that will definitely change your recommendation if you know how to read it again. So, whenever you go back again to the case, you read it with very sharper eyes because you already have data driven analysis with you. So once you know what decision has to be taken, go to the exhibits, read every table, every chart, every graph, understand what kind of information they are giving. Now go back to narrative. You already have the data driven analysis. You can easily give recommendations. So let's say you have a P&L table. Just don't read it. What are the line items? Check what's the biggest number there. Check what is the trend. Uh, do you see maybe drastic change in one specific year? Then go back, link it with what happened. Maybe there are some increase in customers. What assumptions underlie to the a change in uh, the numbers. So you have to go link each and every table and then again go back to the narrative and see what the problem is. So again, exhibits are very important. Do not miss out on it. And the fourth layer of every case is to understand what the case is hiding from you, what the case does not want you to know. And trust me, every uh, every case study has omissions. uh, every case study has some deliberate omissions, information that a manager, would have missed. Or let's say there is something like in customer satisfaction data, or what the board's real position is, what the competitor is about to do. Everybody has this information, but this is completely absent from the case. So again, identifying what's missing is very, very important. When you read a case, you need to keep a list with you. You need to understand what are the things that are not present here. What assumptions are you making? And again, especially when it comes to placement kind of interviews where a case has been presented to you, you need to ask. Even if you're making an assumption, make sure that you inform that basis this information I'm giving XYZ recommendation. So whenever you're reading a case, please keep a running list of questions that you would want to ask, and then what assumptions you're making in purview of the ambiguity that you're facing. So again, think: are you making this decision just because the data point is missing? And would you give a completely different solution if you were presented with a with XYZ information? So please keep a note of it. So these were the 4 layers of every case that you need to know. Now comes the pain points. Uh, Again, I think we are 20 minutes into this session, and I know it feels so heavy. The reason why I have kept again this PPT as well content heavy is because the case studies are also going to be in a similar manner, and hence this has been done. So I just want to discuss the pain points now. First thing is, a lot of students don't know how to start because it feels heavy to read. It feels uncomfortable because, even reading VRC passages was a tough thing to do, what 500, 600 words. Even that was very difficult, uh, for you guys to follow. So, again, here, you don't know where to start, how to start, and maybe after every 2 paragraphs, you quit. And again, you're unable to identify the problem. Even if you skim through, then you're unable to identify the problem, and hence that is an issue. One second, I just have something in the chat box. All right, yeah. So most students, they feel stuck because the problem is unclear, and you think randomly, you just lose the touch, you just go silent, you do not contribute to the classroom discussions. And again, the real issue is that you do not think in a structured way, you do not clarify the problem, and hence the main focus should not be, again, prioritize. First, decide what the main problem is, and then set the context as I've mentioned earlier. So that is the way you start. Again, the way to approach to the cases: first, jot down what the main problem is, find out that, and then go back to your industry context, the firm context, and the individual's context. So if you keep a track of it, then it will be much more easier for you. And second pain point is that you confuse symptoms with the problem. Sometimes it does happen, because it feels like, uh, the symptoms are the main problems, and you start focusing on them. And in reality, they are just hints, they are just signals, and the root causes, they are much more deeper, and more analysis is needed. They are not very specifically stated, but again, you need to find solutions for that. So do not confuse between these two. And then, over dependence on frameworks. I'm also going to teach you to 3 4 frameworks today. And students, what they try to do is that they try to fit every case into a particular framework. You are going to be very rigid that यहाँ पे तो मैं SWOT लगाऊंगा ही. The SPOTO 5 forces will definitely work here. But you need to understand that frameworks do not work everywhere. They are just a path so that you can think in one particular direction, but make sure it doesn't make you more rigid, because not every framework is relevant to every case. Just make sure that it gives you path to think, but do not restrict yourself to that particular thing, that you do not think beyond that dimension. So ensure that, maybe, okay, you're thinking that Potter's 5 forces will work here. Well and good. Apply it, but don't restrict yourself to that. Think what else perspective you can add. Maybe Potter's 5 forces you're applying, that can be an addition. But other than that, what else can you think of? So don't feel that applying one or two particular frameworks makes your candidature strong. Not always. Then comes your lack of structured thinking. You might not be in a situation to express yourself correctly. Sometimes it can feel random. Sometimes it feels like you have the answer, but you're unable to organize things logically. A simple way to improve this is jot down important points, make notes. They are very important because then you get a flow of things. And once you have flow, you are going to think logically. So have that habit. And then fear of numbers. A lot of students do neglect on exhibits is because that they fear numbers, they fear graphs, charts, tables. Uh, they don't want to get into the quantitative aspect of it, even if they are very simple calculations. They do not want to, waste their time on it. But again, the data driven analysis is very important even before you begin the narrative of the case. So do not shy away from data, because trust me, the exhibits that you are going to have, they are going to be very simple. They are going to give you a better understanding of the entire case. So do not hide away from it. Then comes very superficial analysis, because the reading is itself surface level. You just skim through each and every point, and you do not make notes again. So you do not dig deeper. You do not ask yourself why this is happening, how can we fix it. And again, you're confusing symptoms with the actual problem. So uh, very superficial analysis, very obvious answers. If you're getting very obvious answer that every, let's say, non-MBA person also would, then you should know that you're going in the wrong direction. So make sure that you ask more questions, you state your assumptions, you dig deeper why this is happening. You ask for more, supporting documents. You go back to the exhibits, you go back to the points that have been shared earlier, and see if there are any linkages. So definitely there is not going to be a single table, single thing that holds no relevance. So just see if you can tie back each and everything or not. And this is the master list that you're going to have before you submit answers to each and every case. So these are the mistakes and how you can correct it. So instead of focusing on what actually happened to the company, that is not something we are here to discuss, right? Whatever happened with the company holds very less significance to us. Your main discussion point should be what recommendation would have worked at that time, what decision would have worked at that time. So the thought process should revolve only around that, instead of focusing on what the reality was and was it a good choice or not. Again, do not restrict your thinking. And conflating confidence with correctness. See, again, you're going to be in a room with a lot of smart people. So, and a lot of people are going to disagree with your points. Do not take disagreement as, competition, or do not take it to your ego. Learn from it. It's a skill. And then again, as I mentioned so many times, do not skip exhibits, do not summarize everything, or do proper analysis. Do not jump into recommendation without going into, each and every little detail. Build the structure, build the flow, make notes. And a lot of people overly rely on SWOT as their first step to any case problem. You feel that's what is your solution. So again, not all frameworks fit for each and every case. So be mindful of it. And some people try to use all the frameworks on each and every case. Again, wouldn't work. Just pick one framework that you think is most relevant here, most important here, and try to see if it works. Do not try to force fit each and everything. And next is, do not wait for certainty before you speak, because the cases are going to be ambiguous. They are meant to be. So have the courage to speak up. The more you, try to communicate, the better understanding you'll have, the better, logic will fit into your mind. And lastly, do not refuse to update your position when challenged. Do not be rigid, even when it comes to applying frameworks, when it comes to changing your answers. If there is a good argument, acknowledge it and start thinking in other direction if needed. Now I'm going to focus on very basic frameworks that probably you also know. Then we also have class tomorrow on consulting frameworks, where we are going to dig deeper into other frameworks. These are the ones that we use during our case studies. Very general one, very common. I feel like you already know these frameworks. but it's going to be a quick revision. And whatever case that I'm going to give today, uh, these frameworks are of use, maybe one or two of them. So maybe you can apply them if it works for you. And it's a quick revision. So I know a lot of you guys know what's SWOTers: strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Whenever you get a business problem, you can just divide it into four parts. What are the strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? The first two aspects consider only the external environment, and the later two one consider the internal ones. So do not, mismatch all of this. So whenever it comes to the strengths, the good part of it, what resources do you have, what competitive advantage do you have, what's working well for you, what differentiates you from your competitors, all of that will come under your strength part. Again, back it with data. Do not just simply write points that you have xyz resource. Why is it important? How much efficiency does it have? So keep a note of all of that to back your answer, because otherwise it's going to look very generic. And then comes your weaknesses. What sets your competitors apart from you? What are the resources that you lack? Where are you struggling actually? How can you overcome these things? So, all of that part comes under your weaknesses part. The not so good part, but again, you'll have to see if there is a scope of improvement or not. If it is a completely, dead end or not, keep a note of these two things as well. Then comes your opportunities. Here in your opportunities, you're going to see that what's the most valuable strength you have and how you can convert that into something bigger. What trends are favoring you? It can be political trends favoring you, industry trends that are favoring you, anything. Whatever opportunity that you have there, whatever you can use to get better, all of that will come here. And again, it can be internal as in maybe you have some excellent resource, or maybe you have, maybe the competitors are not doing good, but you have uh, an amazing resource, an amazing opportunity in your hand that's going to work in your favor. All of that you take a note of. Then comes your threats. What are the challenges? What could go wrong? What are the weak points internally for you guys that can make things bad for you? So all of that will come under your threat part. Then this is something that you're going to commonly use in marketing case studies. I hope, I think you guys have read this in your marketing masterclass as well. And then there is another name to it, IDA framework, AIDA. So it's just how, in which stage of the consumer funnel, your audience is that you need to take a note of it. Then there is awareness, consideration, conversion, loyalty, advocacy. As the name suggests, each and everything is layer awareness. The first step is that the customers, they just know about you, they have heard about you. uh, it's just the first initial point where you are being introduced in the market. So again, the reason why you have to categorize into different funnels is that you can give solutions accordingly. If your product is at awareness stage to customers, to a large audience base, you cannot give solutions that would cater to the audience who are loyal, in the loyalty phase. And hence this categorization is necessary. So awareness is just introductory phase where people just know you. They might have heard your name somewhere. They might not know even the details. So this is very, very initial phase. Then consideration is where they actually try to know more. What are the details? And how you're doing good versus other people, other competitors. So here they are trying to get more information, and they're considering you among the other products that are available. And then comes conversion, where they finally buy your product. So in the conversion category, they are convinced that this is something that can be tried and tested. And loyalty is where they do not go to other brands. It's just yours that is preferred. Each and every funnel have will have different recommendations uh, to ensure that the brand loyalty exists, continues. Will have the solutions are going to be very much different from getting a person to buy your product, getting a person who is in conversion stage. the recommendations are going to be completely in different directions. So hence you can just use this, see where your brand lies, where your product lies, and then make changes, make decisions accordingly. Then again, Porter's five forces. I have taught it twice this season in your AYN course. So I hope you all know, but again, I'll just quickly repeat. So uh, again, Porter's five forces is something that goes well with a lot of cases, especially where you have to make a decision on whether to go for it or not. So you just let's say market entry. So you'll have to consider all these products. So what is the threat of new entrants? What's the barrier to entry? Let's say we take aerospace. The barrier to entry is very high. No new competitor would be able to come and just take over the market. So again, you'll have to see what is the barrier to entry, how profitable will it be for that company to come and operate into the new market. Then you're going to see the economies of scale. You're going to see what the brand loyalty exists there, what are the capital requirements. Wherever the capital requirements are huge, obviously the brand, the threat to entry is very high. Then what are the political things that are going on? What are the government policies? How easy it is for customers to switch? All of these you're going to consider before deciding whether or not to, let's say, launch a new product, whether or not to go into a new market. So first thing that you look into it is threat to new entrants. Then comes your bargaining power of buyers. Buyers are nothing but customers. So you see what the size of your market is. How many number of customers do you have? Size of each customer order. Are they bulk, or the volume is quite low, and how many competitors are there, and is it very easy to switch? If the customer, let's say FMCG, very easy for customers to switch. So the bargaining power of buyers is very high because they are also price sensitive. If you increase price by very little, even by very little margin, then again very easy for customers to switch to a new product, new brand. So you'll have to see all this, that what are your margins going to be? Are you a brand, or are you a product that's going to survive in such circumstances where let's say the price sensitivity is very high, the buyer's ability to substitute you is very high, there is no brand loyalty. So in such cases, is your product fit to sustain or not? You're going to check here. Then then comes your bargaining power of suppliers. Here, you're just going to see how many, what's the size of your suppliers. Are they very unique? What's the, number, and what's the logistics like? And are they very easy to substitute or not? Let's say you face problem in one particular condition with a supplier. So can you just switch to another supplier with very ease or not? That is one thing that you'll have to take note of, because let's say you struggle switching between suppliers, they already have contracts, they cannot commit to you, they have like 3 months waiting, 5 months waiting. You cannot hold on to your business for so long. So you will have to see what's the bargaining power of suppliers as well. Then comes your threat of substitute products. How many number of substitute products exist, and how are buyers easily substituting your product to something different? Is it very simple or not? That you'll have to check. Then what are the price of the substitutes? What are the switching costs? Whoever is doing this, please stop. Yeah. And lastly, you're going to also check rivalry among existing competitors, uh, the number of competitors that exist, how are, what's the rivalry between them? Is there any monopoly going on, oligopoly going on, or, there are so many competitors and the market is price sensitive or not? So you're going to make an analysis of all this and see if your brand, your company can last in such environment or not, and then make a final decision. So this is one of the framework that you can use. And then comes your 3C, this is your company, customer, competitors. You make a comprehensive list of your company, what was what are the benefits that your company has, what strengths your product has, and what are the features, how much R&D you have, what all competitive advantage your company has that you're going to look into. Then the customer base, the again in customer base, number of buyers, and are they price sensitive or not, what are the switching cost, all of this you're going to see. And competitors, what are the market share that your competitors hold, what sets their product different from yours, all the differentiators, all of this you're going to take a note of before entering into a new market. And then this is the last framework that we are going to do today, and we are going to continue from this. Again, these are very basic frameworks that I have taught, might be used in your case studies. And we are going to pick it up from here tomorrow, consulting framework session. But with that, I also want the case study homework to be done by you all. So again, very simple one. Answer of matrix is just a tool that is made up of four strategic components: market penetration strategy, product development strategy, market development strategy, and diversification strategy. Here you make decisions based on your product and the market that you're operating. Let's say that your product is also existing one, and the market is also existing. Then you apply market penetration strategy. The reason being here is the market penetration strategy, it focuses on boosting the sales. You already have the product, you already have the market. Here what you're going to do is that you're just going to promote your thing, you're going to advertise more. Everybody knows about your product, everybody knows about the market. So the strategies that you're going to apply here involves very little risk. Here the full focus is going to be on the advertisements part, the promotions part of it. So this is the market penetration strategy. When do you apply this? When the products are also existing and the market is also existing. Now when your products are new and your market is also new, that time you take diversification strategy. Here in diversification strategy, you sell or you market new products in new places, and you have limited information about your conditions. This is the riskiest strategy that you would apply. Here you are going to enter into a completely new market with very little information, probably no competitors, or no base of yours. So what kind of strategy are you going to apply here? What kind of pricing technique are you going to follow here? All of this comes under your ANSOF matrix. Then comes your product development strategy, where your products are quite new, but you are an existing player. You have the market. People know you. People know your brand. Maybe they are even loyal to your brand. So you're just introducing a new market, you're introducing a new product, or maybe a new feature to your existing market. Again, the strategy is not that riskier, but again, it can be that there are uncertain demand, or people might feel that you're going to different streams, and might come into reduction in trust. But still, this is not very much riskier. You just have to introduce a new feature or introduce a new product into the existing markets. You just have to use the base that you have, the share that you have, market share you have, to make sure that your product is known. And then market development is where your product exists, but you're looking into new market. It can be a new geography, it can be maybe mm, uh, a new place that you're looking at. So all of this comes under your market development strategy. Now, I guess that's it for today, and we are going to continue from this into tomorrow's class of consulting frameworks. Now, I'll just give you permission to unmute, and you can ask your questions if any. Just a second. And I'll also, after this class, I'll also share a case study with you. So you can just discuss it with me in tomorrow's session. And let
Hello.
me know. Yeah, hi.
Yeah, when you said that in the answer of matrix you told about market existing, does that refer to you already being an existing player in the market, or you can be a new player but the market is already existing?
Sorry, can you please repeat?
When we talk about answer of matrix, when we talk about if the market exists or not, are we referring to us being a player already in the market, or are we referring that the market is already there but we can be
No,
a
no,
new
no.
player?
The first one that you mentioned.
Okay, so we have to be a company who's already selling different products in the market.
Yeah,
Okay.
let me also check the chat box once. Okay, Vedant, please bring some financial. Yes, Amisha, the financial aspects are also covered in the case study that I'll be sharing. How to understand which framework will work best for. See, when it comes to analyzing the competition, or you'll have to check if you'll have to launch a new product, you'll have to enter into a new market. वहां पे तुम आंसर ऑफ मैट्रिक्स लगा सकते हो, पोर्टर्स फाइव फोर्सेस लगाते हो, जहाँ पे बस एनालिसिस करना है कि कंपनी कैसे कर रही है, वहां पे मे बी यू कैन यूज स्वॉट. So just check whichever framework fits in or not in that particular case. Can they give useless data in case study as well? See, every data set will have some relevance. It will be linked somehow to the analysis that you're going to do. So, very rare scenarios that it will be useless. Also, somebody is saying that it's a bit overwhelming with so much in a day. Is it okay to feel it, or am I underprepared? You're not underprepared. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are feeling overwhelming. It's just that it's okay to feel overwhelmed right now instead of feeling it at B school 2 months later. So,
Sanjana, I just wanted to ask, like, what should be the consideration first, like the financial aspect, then the market aspect, and like what should be the first consideration, like, and then the list. Like,
so
how shall we go with it?
as I mentioned first, you look at the industry point of view. First should be that step, and when it comes to the firm, every case study will have different problems. There will be weightages, and you'll understand if you'll have to give more weightage to the marketing aspect or the financial aspect. And the exhibits also give a kind of hint what the exhibits are talking about. Is it more finance related? The profit and loss statements are given to you, the projections are given to you, or are they talking about the total number of consumers they have and what the trend has been? So you are going to get an idea of it.
But I just like wanted to understand since the finance thing will be the most important in most of the case studies, right? So first of all, like I just wanted to understand what should be the list where we go down like this. Like, agar marketing wala hai, तो obviously we'll keep marketing first, then finance will come the second, and फिर like that is how it works, right? Is what I like
हाँ,
wanted to understand.
सी ऐसा हम जनरली व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट मार्केटिंग की स्टडीज या फाइनेंस वाले, बट ऑप्स का भी हो सकता है. तो देयर इज नो स्पेसिफिक डोमेन वाइज आई कैन से दैट ये पहले देखो वो देखो. द प्रॉब्लम्स कैन बी वेरी डिफरेंट, एंड उस पर्टिकुलर प्रॉब्लम में व्हाट्स मोर रेलेवेंट वो तब का तब देखना पड़ेगा. Supply chain also can be like the biggest issue, so there is no particular list that you have to follow. Kritika, to answer your question, yeah, profitability, one case studies, they do have a lot of points, and thoda bahut you'll have to focus on those details as well. How to develop the financial understanding is when you go through the course, when you understand the financial parts, the terms, and how they are linked to the analysis part of it, वो तुम्हें अपने आप समझ आ जाएगा. It takes a little bit of time. because अगर तुम्हें terms ही नहीं पता, how are you going to apply them? So just थोड़ा बहुत relax. That is why first, I'm not going to give you a very heavy case study. Once you get a little bit grasp on what the terms are, how the domain works, and how it's relevant to the overall business, then वो तुम्हें अपने आप समझ आ जाएगा कैसे करना है. All right. I guess that's it. So in 10 minutes, I'll just drop the case study, and do come prepared before 10 p.m. tomorrow. All right. Good luck, guys. Vedant, the case study will be in the group that you guys have joined, the WhatsApp group, and I'll also request the admin to share it in the Telegram one. So please join the group. If you want, I'll share the link here. Just give me a minute. I'll also share the link to those who are not part of the group. Or if admin is here, if you can do that. Yeah, you can refer to the chat box. I think attendance is already taken.